if you're a brand new agent, your friends and family probably don't trust you. These are things I learned because they think you're a dummy. They think, yeah, you don't know nothing.
He just trying this.
Yeah, I got my own sister that has bought and sold houses 2, 3 times and hasn't used me. I used to take a person, and I don't. Really, that's the best thing you can do because at a minimum, now I'm not one for Sphere and database, which those are great as well. I have a little different school of thought. Is like, hey, someone has took the time to be like, hey, I want to see this house. Yes, they haven't come the traditional way where they're qualified or whatever, but you're the real estate professional. You can guide them to do that. So I'll meet you. I'll meet you at 123 Main Street. Okay, great, cool. And then while we're walking it, what do you think? How long you been looking? What's your lease? And I'm just start pre-qualifying them there. And ask them, hey, how's your credit? They say I think it's
how are you
620.
actually getting how are you actually converting those leads to actually getting them to show up? Like, did you? Because obviously, when
Oh,
you
they
first
want
start
to.
cold calling, what was that?
They want to. That's so I don't cold. I used to. I used to back in the day, right? I used to do all the
Okay,
old school stuff on FISBOs, for sale by owners, expireds, etc. I used to do all that stuff.
gotcha.
It was somewhat decent.
Okay,
Facebook Marketplace is, and I was in San Antonio for a couple of months back before came back to Houston. I did a pilot test on rental houses, and what we did, we would post rental listings on Facebook, and I was getting like 50 messages a day. People want to see a rental house.
okay. So doing that, you literally it was just all incoming leads, and you just kind of scheduling stuff out.
Yeah, and then literally I
Gotcha.
just text the magic line. When do you want to see the house? And then they'll start dequalifying them themselves. They're like, hey, do you work with someone with evictions? Do you work with someone with broken leases and stuff like that?
Gotcha. So today you would say because like you were saying, like most people probably wouldn't want to spend the time to go meet with people that aren't
Yeah.
qualified. Like, so why do you do it that way? And then kind of like what advantages or disadvantages do you think that way has versus what other people are kind of doing?
Okay. Yeah. The reason why I chose that, if you want to survive in real estate, especially in this today's market, you have to be different. Um, I get where success is, there's clues, but in order to be a disruptor, you have to find what other people aren't doing. And that's where you find the hidden market. Because, okay, I mean, you go on Instagram, everyone's saying, hey, how to buy a first time house.
Yeah,
There's millions of people doing that, but who's talking about rentals? Who's talking about things like that? So I didn't always know that, but I've learned that in order to succeed in any market shift or anything, you have to be different. Now, the great thing, you find an untapped market, but one of the disadvantages, you literally have to babysit these people. These people, um, they need a lot of help. A lot of times they've rented houses from people just like, hey man, hey Tyree, let me rent your house. I'll give you the deposit and not sign a lease. And they're used to just doing stuff back then, and you have to teach them a lot of stuff, and they're not the most, how can I say, they're not the most sophisticated, but there's a quote that says you get rich by feeding the poor. And
gotcha.
especially being a person of color, I can relate to that, to where it's like, okay, you don't pass the mold that you typically can find, so you shouldn't just be disregarded from society. So that's the way I see it that way.
Gotcha. So a lot of what you do is kind of like taking anybody that comes in and kind of educating along the way from wherever they are to you know, you could maybe get it in 6 months or maybe in a few months, kind of thing.
Right. And I listen to my client because I'll be honest, today it is the home market's tough, right? A lot of people are priced out, and actually in the short term, as we're recording this in mid-March 2024, the average price of a rental home in Houston is still cheaper than getting a mortgage in most cases. So
Gotcha.
these people are literally like, hey, I work my blue collar job, but you'd be surprised. You meet doctors, you meet all sorts of people that use Facebook Marketplace. So it's not just a set thing. And they're like, hey, I just want to rent. That's all I can afford. I can afford 1,800. I saw this nice house. How can you help me get into this house? And that's what I do, and just help them get in there, because a lot of them, they're not used to using a realtor to go find a rental house. It's just like, hey, Randy, Larry landlord is renting out his house, and I'll just go give him a deposit with no lease. And I've had to, like, you got to hold the hand. I remember there was one, she got the lease. The landlord wanted it as a cash app. She didn't want to send the cash app. It's like, hey, you need to sign the lease first. Like, never give anyone any money unless you sign a lease, because that's your legal protection in case something
Right.
happens. So,
Gotcha. Okay, so tell me kind of like the initial like first sale you made outside of, or maybe start with, if you had a family or friend, person you started with, and then the first outside of your immediate circle that you kind of, first sale you made.
well, actually, to be honest with you, my first sale was not in my circle, because everyone in my circle was like, yeah, that guy's an idiot. He just got his license. I don't trust him. So my first sale was actually thanks to my real estate coach at Keller Williams City View. And he was like, I don't want to work with this buyer. There's this person who needs help. You want to take it? It's like, yeah, sure. So me being green, dumb, I got a referral from an agent in Houston, right? She's like, I want a 50% referral. I was like, okay.
Just go with it.
Like, okay. Yeah, that's outrageous. That's
Right.
for a referral fee. I was like, okay. I made like maybe what, $1,800 on that first